Hey everybody, this is Vinny from the Overdose Talk Show. I want to stay up on this situation still unfolding in Oregon at the Malheur Wildlife Refuge, where I guess a bunch of people took off, got out of there. They only arrested 3 of them and let the other 3 or 4 of them go. That's what's been happening since my last video. Also, we've had the eyewitness accounts come out. I would dispute that term being used for Mark McConnell's account, because I've seen that over and over in the media that has been covering this. Is Mark McConnell eyewitness count disputes conspiracy theory about LaVoy Finicum's killing. Well, according to Mark McConnell, in his video, he says that he didn't actually witness it himself, that he got the story from Ryan Bundy and Shauna Cox, who were in the car with LaVoy Finicum, both of whom are in jail, as opposed to Victoria Sharp, who uploaded a video saying she was also in the car with LaVoy Finicum and that they were shot at before they got out of the car, that they tried to plead with the police. A couple of the men tried to plead, hey, we've got 2 women in the car. Can you please get them out of this situation and then do what you're going to do with us? They were shot at, according to Victoria. LaVoy took off down the road, crashed into a snowbank, at which point he jumped out, put his hands up, and said, if you're going to shoot me, just fucking shoot me. And they fucking shot him. That is what the actual only eyewitness account that we have says. Mark McConnell, according to some people, just showed up at the place a few weeks ago and nobody knew who he was. I don't know, but this is what they're calling another eyewitness account when he himself says, I didn't actually see it. I heard about it from these other people who did, and we haven't heard directly from them. I don't know how we heard about it from them when they're in jail, but a lot of this is getting very, very frustrating and confusing. And don't forget, we still have the account that Ammon Bundy also called his wife from the back of a police car and told her that he was shot with his hands up. So we have 2 people claiming to have actually seen it, and that's what they say. Now, what do we get from law enforcement and the FBI? Well, it's at this point unclear what happened. So let me ask you this. If you show up to a situation, say like a fight, you show up and somebody's got a black eye, and he says, hey, this guy over here just punched me in the eye. And you go to the other guy and you say, what happened here? Did you punch this guy in the eye? He goes, I can't talk to you. You'll have to speak to my spokesperson over here. And the spokesperson says, yes, he punched him in the eye, but at this time, the circumstances are unclear. Who do you believe? The guy that says, hey, this guy just came up and punched me in the eye, or the guy that says, I can't comment on it right now. There was an altercation, but the details are classified. What's your impression there, combined with these eyewitness accounts? I mean, come on, let's not be too naive about this. Let's look at it for what it is. And someone commented on the last video, this is the thing. This is not my first time putting out videos like this, and I know what happens, and we've seen articles over the years, about paid trolls, NSA, CIA fucking employees that sit there and confuse issues in comment sections. Because also, do not forget, comment sections are just as important as the content in videos for those of us who receive a lot of information this way and communicate a lot on YouTube and other ways. Comment sections is where there's a lot of action sometimes. You can pull up a video and go, well, I don't want to spend 20 minutes on this video if it's total bullshit. And if you see 20 comments talking about why it's total bullshit, you can save some time. Also, you can find out all kinds of new information, and there's a lot of productive discussions that can happen when we're not all fighting like a bunch of children, which is, of course, what the establishment wants us to be doing. But someone commented, the dash cam footage shows LaVoy Finicum firing at officers. You click on that guy's account, he doesn't subscribe to anything, no activity, nothing. Blank account. And you're popping up to comment some weird fucking bullshit so that somebody who just looks at the comment section might go, whatever, And then when we ask him about it, where's this dash cam video? He doesn't answer it, but just says, all Oregon police are required to have dash cam video. Like, it's just stupid, mind-numbing shit that's designed to derail discussion. So ignore it. Ignore this stupid bullshit. We see the division tactics everywhere in the media right now, pushing the fight from a left-right perspective. And this is what they do because they've been very successful at changing the issue here. The people that took up arms and basically risked their lives and put their lives on hold to go up there for this cause did it to bring awareness to an issue dealing with the BLM and what they call, and I would agree, totally illegal and corrupt land acquisition. But we're not discussing that. We're fighting back and forth about the merit of the guys involved in what has turned out to be a complete fucking circus that's going to get us nowhere. So that's what they do. They change the issue. They move the football. Imagine if we actually had a conversation in this country that wasn't just two camps hurling meaningless insults and accusations at each other. That would actually be the real danger to the establishment, is if we could stop fucking beating the shit out of each other in an effort to feel intellectually superior as part of some ideological camp. And one thing you'll notice about me is, if you watch my stuff or listen to our talk show, is that I'm not into this I know it first, I'm right, you're wrong kind of shit. It's fucking exhausting. That's why I hate putting out videos like this, actually, is because I have like acid reflux from the fucking stress of sitting here going, all right, now I've put myself out there and I might have to defend something that I said that's fucking stupid or blah, blah, blah. You know, I wish we could just have a fucking conversation and act maybe as one American people in some way. You know, we all fall so easily for this stupid bickering bullshit. So yeah, it looks like a setup. They were headed to a community meeting in John Day, Oregon, where they were supposedly going to meet with a few hundred local residents who were pretty split on the whole issue in general, I think. But they were supposed to sit there and talk some stuff out. Obviously, the FBI and the Oregon State Police found out and were waiting for them. Now, a lot of people are immediately going, that means there was an FBI informant there. Why? They were going to a meeting where several hundred people knew they were coming. You know, I mean, it wouldn't have been too hard to figure out when they were going to be on that highway. That didn't make much sense to me. However, I'm sure that the feds had some kind of clandestine presence in this whole thing. I'm not naive in that respect. A lot of people pointing at this guy, John Ritzheimer, who I forgot in the last video. He was the same guy that was involved with the Draw Muhammad contest stuff and the protest and the armed protest at the mosque. So, I mean, yeah, he's been a guy who I remember looking at that stuff and going, hey, I kind of like that from one angle. And then I would listen to the guy talk and just think, Jesus, this guy is a fucking idiot. So if you were going to have a guy out there to demonize things like the Second Amendment or land rights or whatever, you couldn't really pick a better guy. I mean, he is a buffoon. And he went to Arizona the morning that this all happened. He takes off, supposedly to go see his family. And they pick him up in Arizona. But if you have an informant, you know, like when they do RICO cases and stuff and they do a roundup of all the people, they're going to pick up the informant too. The informant wants to be picked up. He doesn't want to look like he's getting away with something when everybody else is getting rounded up. They always pick up the informant. So totally, yeah, sure. He could be, you know, an actor. It all does make sense. Oh, and going back to the Mark McConnell thing, the guy with the secondhand account, supposedly, that's being called an eyewitness account in headlines, he says LaVoy Finicum charged at the police. What the fuck sense does that make? You've got, on one hand, these armed guys that are supposedly so dangerous, and they've got these big bad guns, and they're just big right-wing, crazy, religious white terrorists like Tim McVeigh. And on the other hand, then he gets out of the car and just runs kamikaze style straight into a fucking barrage of bullets. What sense does that make? Did he want to shoot it out? Or did he, what? If he wanted to shoot it out, why wouldn't he have shot it out? The story is that he runs at him. He runs at him. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. I would have had an easier time believing that he jumped out and tried to take cover and shoot at him. Whatever. That's my opinion on that. A lot of people saying Pete Santilli is an informant. Again, I don't think they need informants. I think they have somebody working for them inside or some situation like that. Pete Santilli was apparently trying to communicate with the FBI to arrange for him to go in and get the women and children out of the refuge before they take any action. It sounds like typical fucking radio guy douche shit, you know, trying to insert yourself as a hero in some situation. Maybe I'm just too cynical, but he has that cheesy radio guy persona, so. But I still, truthfully, I don't really understand why he was arrested. It'll probably come out later what his involvement in this was. I don't know. But to be honest with you, I don't know what these guys expected. You know, the question comes up of revolution and civil war and things like that in these discussions, and I'm not sure how to even discuss it because we're not one people who's even sure who our enemy is. So you start a big firefight. What are we supposed to do? Everybody grab guns and run out there and kill FBI and police, and then what? There's still no plan. I understand we're all being played by larger, more powerful forces that pit us against each other, you know, and most other people do too. But they go, hey, there's a time to finally stand up. But then to what end? Where do we go? Do we go kill the Rothschild family? And then what? And then a power vacuum exists and we end up with the same problems again? We don't have a clear view of our enemy because some of it is metaphysical too. Some of what we're fighting is just the concept of control and government. Some of what we're fighting is the sickness on this planet that has existed since the dawn of civilization that drives people to want to dominate others and prey on them, hoard resources, demoralize, and abuse them. So we don't have an army that we can go take out and they'll surrender. Are we going to fight the FBI and eventually have National Guard and whoever else? And then what? And then what? What are we going to do? So while I agree that there's a time to stand up, and especially in individual cases, if your life is threatened, yeah, stand up to a cop, stand up to a government official. Do it. Fucking kill them. I don't care, but I don't think we can fight the war that way. But I do get it. And in a lot of ways, I see police as enemies because of a pesky little principle called personal accountability. Because, yeah, I get it. They are taking part in the evil. A lot of bureaucrats and government officials are taking part in the evil, and they have the same access to the information that we have and could have come to the same conclusions morally and spiritually or whatever this all means to you and said, I'm not going to take part in this. So they do have accountability, and in certain situations, yeah, you got to fight them. So a lot of talk now is the movement getting a black eye. What movement? None of us agree about anything. It's even in the truth movement, the patriot movement, there's so much bickering about who the actual enemy is. Who's the fucking head of the snake? And how do we cut it off? Again, I just think this idea that we're all part of one cohesive movement with any kind of real goal is pretty silly. So everyone who's saying that this is staged to make the liberty or patriot or conspiracy theory or whatever you consider yourself to be a part of movement look bad or look ridiculous, well, you're playing into it. Don't let it do that. It doesn't have to. It's looking like this was a mistake. It's looking like these guys were a bit naive about what they were doing, and they were probably influenced by provocateurs and who knows what else. It's looking like this whole thing is a big fucking mistake. But it has been interesting, and of course we'll continue to look at it and dissect it and see what comes out of it. One thing before I go that I would like to get out there is, yeah, the dash cam hasn't come out. We need to watch for that. We need to figure out why it hasn't come out yet, because as I said in the last video, you know, if they fired at the FBI or if they did something where they deserve to be shot at, it would have come out immediately. How many times have we seen stories in the media, and the media has the story right away? Well, the suspect turned and fired and they had to take him out. The suspect refused to throw the knife down and they had to blah, blah, blah. You hear it all the time. It's been a couple days now. Nothing? Come on. And I really wonder what's going to happen when we find out the exact names of who fired the shots and who killed him and blah, 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 and what happened, and see what happens with their careers. Let's track these guys and stay on that and see if they end up getting promoted to some cushy, high-paying job. Let's just see. I'm not saying it'll definitely happen, but wouldn't it be interesting if it did? So I'm going to go. We're going to do our full-length show. We'll be broadcasting on Ustream around 9 or 10 tonight. You can find the Overdose Talk Show on Facebook, and we always post our links when we're live. Or you can subscribe to us on Ustream. You'll get an email, I think, when we go up. We're going to respond to comments. We're going to go over all of this stuff. By the time this video is uploaded, I'm sure there's going to be new things to talk about in this case. That's what's hard about making these videos, is deciding when to stop trolling every news site that you can and seeing every new article come out every 15 minutes and getting little bits and pieces, and just stop and just start making the video and doing all the work to get this thing out, which means you have to pry yourself away from the laptop for a little while. But yeah, thanks for checking us out. Don't be a dick. If I say something stupid or if I have something wrong, let me know. Let's talk, okay? We'll respond to everything on the full show. And until then, everybody take care. Have a good day.